Essential question. Why is it important to keep a record of the past? Read how a diary becomes a refuge for an orphan girl. Valley of the Moon by Sherry Garland. Illustrated by Christina Rodanas. Orphaned at an early age, Maria Rosalia and her younger brother Domingo were raised by Padre Ignacio at the Mission Rafael in Alta California. Now the children have become servants at the Medina Rancho. Taught to read and write by Padre Ignacio, Maria Rosalia has recently started keeping a diary about her life at the rancho. October 10, 1845. Tonight I begin my first diary. The Medina family is asleep, and all is quiet throughout the rancho. Only the wind racing around the corners of the adobe house and the distant yelp of coyotes break the night silence. I am snuggled in a corner of the kitchen, surrounded by baskets of dried corn waiting to be ground. The tile floors feel cold on my bare feet, but I do not mind, for I know no one will find me here. This diary is mine because the eldest of the Medina daughters, Miguela, tossed it over her balcony into the courtyard. My fingers quickly rescued it from a watery death in the fountain. Señorita Miguela threw it away in a fit of resentment after it was given to her by an American suitor, Señor Henry Johnston. With flashing black eyes, she cried out that a girl has no more use for reading and writing than a snake has for gold earrings. She said the diary was an insult to her beauty and charm, then tossed Señor Johnston out too. I feel sorry for Señor Johnston, or for any man who has the misfortune of courting headstrong Miguela, but I am not sorry that I now hold her discarded diary in my hands. I must not let anyone see me writing, for I am a servant, a half-Indian orphan, a girl. I am supposed to know nothing but work and obedience. How amazed the Medinas would be if they knew I learned to read and write from a kind old padre at Mission Rafael, many miles from here. Maybe someday I will tell them. October 11. I've been thinking about Padre Ignacio all day. It was he who found Domingo and me 8 years ago beside our dying mother in the rose garden of Mission Rafael near San Francisco Bay. Her body was ravaged with smallpox, and I had placed roses over her face. I think I was about 5 years old, and my brother was about 2, but no one knows our ages for sure. Padre Ignacio named me Maria Rosalia after the Blessed Virgin and because of the roses. He named my brother Domingo because it was a Sunday morning. For a last name, he called us Milagros, for it was a miracle indeed that we did not die of the horrible plague that claimed the lives of so many Indians in Alta California. They say that out of 40,000 Suisun people, only 200 lived. Some smaller tribes lost everyone. How Domingo and I survived is one of the many mysteries of my life. When Padre Ignacio found us, we did not speak much Spanish, and he did not know our Indian dialect, but of one thing he was sure. Though our mother had the bronze skin of an Indian, our skin was the light brown of mestizos, half Indian and half Spanish. It was obvious that our father had been a white man. Whether he was a wealthy Spanish landowner, a Spanish soldier from the Presidio at San Francisco, a Russian fur trapper, or an American merchant sailor, no one knows. Lupita, the cook, is the closest thing to a mother I have. Her husband Gregorio is the head vaquero on the ranch. He oversees the men who tend the cattle and horses. It was Gregorio who found me and Domingo at Mission Rafael 4 years ago and brought us to live at the Medina Ranch, Rancho Agua Verde. Lupita and Gregorio have no children of their own, but have raised several orphans. I know they care about me, yet my heart feels empty. If I do not know my past, how can I plot my future? I must stop thinking such things and get back to work. If I don't finish grinding this corn, there will be no tortillas tomorrow. October 14. I am in the goat pen seizing a moment to write in my diary. I milked the goats faster than lightning so that I might have a free moment. I carry the diary with me all the time, tied to my waist with a sash and hidden under my skirt. I dare not write at night in my room, for Ramona is a light sleeper. I have no ink, so I am using beet juice. It leaves an uneven pale red color, but it must do until I find real ink. For a pen, I am using a sharpened black feather from the tail of Paladin, Senor Medina's favorite fighting rooster. Domingo stole the feather from the chicken coop and gave it to me. All I think of while doing chores is the moment I will open this diary and write. It is my island of refuge in a sea of work. October 15. Senor Johnston is here again. I like him very much. He speaks to me kindly and does not order me around. He owns a merchant business in the small town of Yerba Buena on San Francisco Bay south of here. Being 28 years of age and settled, he is now looking for a wife. He has decided upon Señorita Miguela, may heaven help him, and has visited Rancho Agua Verde many times this year. Senor Johnston is waiting for his brother and family who are coming by wagon train from Missouri to join him in California. They will arrive first at Sutter's Fort in the Sacramento Valley, where Johnston will go meet them. A few years ago, there were very few foreigners in Alta California, just some sailors and fur trappers. Now they come in a steady stream, mostly farmers from Missouri. There are hundreds of them, especially in the Sacramento Valley northeast of here. Lupita does not trust the Norteamericanos. She says they are supposed to become loyal Mexican citizens, learn to speak Spanish, and become Catholics in exchange for land. But not all of them do as they agreed. She especially dislikes the foreigner, Johann Sutter, who encourages other foreigners to come to California illegally without permission from the Mexican government. They are already squatters on Senor Medina's lands. Lupita thinks they will take over Alta California before long. I do not care what Lupita says. I like Senor Johnston, even if he is an Americano. He is beside himself with excitement about his brother's arrival. But he is worried. The snows will soon start to fall on top of the Sierra Nevada mountains to the east, causing deep drifts and icy rocks that make the passes treacherous to cross. If the Johnston family does not clear the mountains by the end of this month, they are surely doomed. October 16. Spent a pleasant morning working in the courtyard that is surrounded by the thick walls of the Casa Grande on 4 sides. I wonder if the Medina house will ever be completed. Every year, the Indian workers add a bit more. When the main house was first built, it was a simple 1-story structure like nearly all the ranchos in northern Alta California. But after Senora Medina and Miguela saw the grand rancho that General Vallejo was building at Petaluma a few miles away, they insisted on having a 2nd story with balconies and rambling rose vines. At the moment, only the Medina family has upstairs bedrooms with balconies. Everyone else, servants and guests alike, sleeps downstairs. I do not mind, for walking up and down stairs makes my legs ache. Drew 10 buckets of water from the well to tend the herbs, beans, squash, pumpkins, melons, onions, and hot chilies in the garden near the kitchen door, swept the veranda that is roofed with brown clay tiles, pruned the rambling Castilian roses that climb up the posts to the upstairs bedroom balconies, picked late maturing pears from Senor Medina's cherished fruit trees. I am tired, but am writing during siesta while everyone else rests. Writing brings me more joy than sleep. Nothing would make me happier than to write all day and all night. October 17. Madre mia! My secret is uncovered. While I was in the courtyard writing in my diary today, Senor Johnston appeared out of nowhere. I was afraid he would be angry that I had it, but his large blue eyes grew wide like an owl's. He said to me in his best Spanish, which I am sorry to say is not very good, "Rosalia, I cannot believe you are writing. How did you learn such skills?" I begged Johnston not to tell anyone, for it would only mean trouble for me. I explained how Padre Ignacio taught the Indian boys at Mission Rafael to read and write. He let me sit quietly at the back of the room, and I helped Domingo, who detested lessons and being indoors. The California missions were closing down anyway, and the Padre did not care if the rules said girls did not need an education. He said if a girl wanted to read and write, he would not stop her. He was very generous and tolerant when it came to the mission Indios. Johnston was so astonished that he dug into his leather saddlebag and handed me a bottle of ink, a very nice brass point, and 2 turkey quills. Now the ink flows onto the pages almost as fast as I think of words.